Hey, right up front, I need to let you know that my company doesn't want me to take any photos or videos of the airplanes that I fly. So while I am an airline pilot, this is really more of a lifestyle vlog showing how my job allows me to live very intentionally. And I just want to show you what that looks like for me over the next 30 days. All right, day one is the start of a 4-day string of days off. So it's 7:15 a.m. right now, so I didn't set an alarm for today because I wanted to catch up from coming home yesterday on a red eye at 3:30 a.m. So I'm going to do some reading while the house is still quiet. And I need to get some work done on my other channel. Thank you. Boys, it's 8:30. Time to get up. We normally start the day with scriptures, family meeting, and exercise. Today we're doing just a little 3-mile run. But the youngest one is riding his bike because I just didn't feel like fighting with him today. And they're always happy to take a break to play with the neighborhood golden retriever when he's out. My work schedule just makes it easier for me to raise physically fit kids. Then it's time for sausage and egg tacos for breakfast with extra eggs. Now I have some errands to run today, starting with going into Cincinnati. We're going to take a look at a bicycle that I found on Marketplace because we're going to be doing a pretty epic bike ride here pretty soon. And my 16-year-old has been riding my bike from when I was 16, so it's time for him to get an upgrade. I'm hoping it's not a setup, so I'm very relieved to see that the bike is sitting out front when we pulled up. All right, we got the bike and we're headed back. All right, one more stop before we go home. I just bought 25 more bags of this black mulch. Well, if you need a hand to carry a load, I'm here to let you know you can put that on me. When that old hurricane is starting to blow. So this was my $400 bike that I got when I was 16. That was 31 years ago. And then here's the one we just got off Marketplace for $350. Now we're just added to the collection. Today we're also putting more work into the backyard mountain bike trail. We cut down this tree a few weeks ago to make this bridge. We need a bridge to get across this muddy little creek bed where most of the mountain bike trail is. And just a little side note, if you don't have a mountain bike trail in your backyard and you would like one, I might suggest a video I made on manifesting. But building a trail comes with its own challenges. No. That's not a toy, buddy. Put it down. We're not doing anything. I'm moving a heavy log over here and you're playing with the chainsaw?
Right by your leg.
Come on. Then it was time for dinner, after which we walked our little dog. Then we all watched a YouTube video on our estate. And that was pretty much it for day one. It's 6:30 in the morning right now. I just ate some peanut butter and drank some water. I'm gonna let that settle. I'm gonna do an outdoor workout this morning. So while that settles, I'm just gonna go back to doing some reading and do a little video editing. I've actually got a pretty nice home gym setup that I'll show you here eventually. But the weather's nice today and I still got that mulch to unload, so I'm gonna turn that into a good outdoor workout. I like to do functional fitness type stuff so you can like train for real life. All right, it is time. See all these bags down here? These are the 25 bags of mulch from last week. And I made that a workout by, let me show you. So with my truck parked up there, you can see there's a nice little hill, and having to get the bags down here as fast as I can, that makes for a good little workout. So last week I did that in right about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna see if I can beat that time. And this is a 30-pound weight vest that I use when I work out outside just to make things a little more interesting. 14 minutes. About 6 minutes faster than last time. It just shows we can push ourselves when we feel like somebody might be watching. So that was a good time, but unfortunately 14 minutes is not long enough for a good solid workout, so still got more work to do. I'm gonna go down to the basement. For the level of fitness that I want to be at, I need to do longer workouts, so that's why I'm gonna do the rowing machine for a little while. Yeah, while my wife is finishing her workout, I'm gonna go wake up the boys. Okay, we're having our daily meeting and our devotional out here because I don't want to take a shower before we go right into yard work right after this. That's what we're doing this morning. Okay, the plan was that I would move the bags where they needed to go, and the 8-year-old would cut the bags open with his pocket knife and dump them out, while the 11-year-old mowed the yard. But we're about 2 bags into it, and he dropped the knife into the mulch and lost it. So here we are looking for the knife. All right, now we're back in business. It's pretty hot out today, but everybody was working hard to get the job done. We're moving along. Looks like we're making good time. And then it all had to come to a stop.
Dad?
Put it in a jar.
I like this angle. It's a really ugly angle. Gets all the...
Just set it there just to put it down.
Oh.
Okay, all the bags are emptied, so I'm gonna go eat. But real quick, I just want to point out, I know that it would have been much cheaper and easier if I had just gotten a big old truck to dump it off in my driveway and then just put it all in a wheelbarrow. Do a bunch of trips with a wheelbarrow would have been a lot easier. But trust me, I'm being intentional about this. The whole point is so that it's work. I get a workout out of it and my kids get something to do. Next up, a ladder and a chainsaw by themselves are not that dangerous, but when you combine the two, now you have a creative way of potentially losing your FAA mode. But there's work to be done, and when the chainsaw throws off the chain, the 8-year-old decides it's time to go old school. Yep. But everybody pitches in to get it done, and even Big Mama wants to try her hand at swinging the axe. So it's 5:28 right now. We had an early dinner. This is what we had for dinner. This was a pork chop from a whole pig that we bought from a farm a few months ago. And these are homemade potatoes with homemade bone broth gravy and, of course, roasted kale because we're cliche like that. So the reason we had an early dinner, I got to be careful how I say this because my wife is my videographer right now. But she does this thing where she buys like these farmer boxes of food so we can get like fresher produce. And so we're on our way, a 30-minute drive to buy a box of peaches. So they just better be some dang good peaches. That's all I have to say. Okay, I'm sorry. It's actually peaches and pecans. All right, Tina, is this the place? Is that your truck? So when we got here at 6:05, we were 5 minutes late, and there were a bunch of people gathered around trying to get the truck driver to open the truck back up, but they had closed up early, and so we didn't get our peaches or our pecans, so we canceled the order and just went home, and that pretty much wraps up day 2. Here's my cozy little home gym. Now, I'm not going to bore you with my whole workout, but I do just want to point out that while I still do conventional weights for those power movements that are good for the bones, I more prefer body weight exercises and stuff that is more like functional and natural in nature. Like using this mace that I made with a bag of concrete and a gas pipe that I've been using for years, and I think it works really well. And I like to do a lot of, well, I don't like to do a lot of it, but I do a lot of what I consider to be challenging core work that's good for like coordination as well. Things like this and playing with the dog. One of the nicest things about having a home gym is you don't have to wipe off that bench that you were just using to warm up on because you're afraid somebody's going to give you a dirty look. And it's easier to make my kids exercise. I don't make them work out that hard, but they do have to do pull-ups. Pull-ups are a requirement in our family. even for my daughters. Here's a clip from a few years ago when we lived in Hawaii and we were just out for a nice Sunday stroll, and we came across this pull-up bar. In our family, a public pull-up bar, well, that's an obligation. I have a very specific reason for why I make them all do pull-ups, and I made a video about it. I'll post that in the description if you want to check that out. When's breakfast going to be ready?
When I say it's ready.
And while we're waiting on breakfast, we're just watching this video on YouTube of a cruise that we're considering doing. So just trying to get an idea of the reviews. All right, now we got to change the oil in my wife's van before music lessons today. And the objective is to see if he's done pretty good about it, but trying to see if he can do it all without me getting underneath the vehicle. That's the plan. So just put it in neutral. Okay, push it back. Now.
I'm with my hand.
Yep. So I got to tell you this story of this time when this little guy here was helping me a couple of years ago change the oil and add coolant to the car. And I was actually underneath the car, and I told him, go ahead. I had the funnel set up for him. I told him to go ahead and pour the oil into the funnel. Well, he got confused and he poured the entire gallon of antifreeze into the engine block. So, yeah, that's what can happen sometimes when you have your kids help you. But that's a lesson he learned, and he'll never do it again. Yep, start it all the way, let it run for 10 seconds. We finished just in time for music lessons. So now we're on our way to music lessons. Leaving music lessons, we're on our way to get a new sewing machine for my daughter, and we come up to the intersection and this vehicle is stalled. So I figure I need to help this woman out. So I swing around the building, park my car, and I go out there to see what the problem is. And I gotta tell you guys, this really frustrated me. She was a really nice woman, probably early 30s, and she was pregnant, and she was just really starting to get flustered. So I told her I was gonna push her car through the intersection to get her out of the way. But apparently when you have a Jeep and it stalls, it automatically sets the parking brake and you cannot unlock it. So she was stuck there in the intersection. Meanwhile, some guy drives by and has this to say to me.
Down the road, clown.
So yeah, that was fun. And then we made it to the sewing machine shop. And yeah, well, that was about as much fun.
Perfect. And on any knit, grab myself these days.
But now check this out. On the way home, I realized we were driving right by the airport, right by the CVG viewing area where you can watch the planes. So I know I said this video wasn't going to be about airplanes, but I couldn't help myself. So now it's back to more video editing. And then it was time for dinner. We had taco soup. Looks good, okay? Yeah, and it was good. But don't be fooled like all of us were. Let me explain what I mean. My wife is very skilled at coming up with ways to make our meals healthier, and a lot of times she has to conceal that, even for me sometimes. So let me show you what she put in this meal. So 2 packs of normal ground beef, and then this one here is the primal blend, so organs and such. And in the blender you can see I hate onions, but there's onions in there mixed with eggplant and tomato for the paste that she mixed into the meat, and it was actually really good, but we just can't tell the boys what it was. After dinner we got to go outside and play some giant frisbee, which I really enjoy. So we try to do it regularly. I don't know if the kids enjoy it or not, but I do. So we played until it started raining. So that's going to be it for tonight. I got to get up early in the morning because I got to do a forbidden bike ride. I'll show you. Okay, the reason I'm up before 6 a.m. on a Saturday is because I want to go ride this road. It goes down to the Ohio River. It's only a few miles from here, but it's very windy and crumbly and steep. And my wife and pretty much everybody that lives around here says that I shouldn't ride my bike on it anymore. But I'm going to compromise by going early in the morning. So hopefully there won't be any cars out early on a Saturday morning.
Never thought I'd fly over my own state. Something about those city lights were calling out my name. Now mama, don't you cry. You know there'll come a day where I come visit you at home. And if I never stay, the same old now welcome sign, the population getting by. Crossing that county line brings back the good old days. With the same old station on the side of that homegrown two-lane paradise. Watching that midnight sky you don't see in LA. This big world will always change, but the small town will stay the same. This concrete tree line's got my head up in the clouds. A good thing that I got my roots back in steady ground. By God, we never thought he'd give her his last name. Or the ring that I wore on the night that we once stayed 14 will always change, but the small town will stay the same. To the place where the same old now welcome sign with population getting by. Crossing that county line brings back the good old days. Watching that midnight sky that makes me want to stay. This big world will always change, but the small town will stay the same.
Come on, boys, don't make me come back up there. All right, let's go get a couple miles in, guys. Okay, that was done. I hear the stats on that, and I got to go down to the basement, stretch it out now. All right, we're gonna do family meeting later today because my 2 teenagers are still on their way home from camp. So you'll get to meet them. All right, Jules is home from camp. All right, Bradley's home.
I am home. Hello.
Hey While I'm glad they're back, now it takes twice as long to gather everybody and get them settled. Now we can continue working on the bridge, so we're going to go back into the yard and get some measurements. And we're going to do a little homeschool math problem here to figure out how many boards we need before we go get them at Lowe's. But first we got to make a drop off at the Goodwill, and then from there we got to go take a look at another bike that I found on Marketplace. This one will be for my daughter. Okay, the bike checked out, so now we're going to get our building supplies. We need 13 8-foot 2x8s, and I need them to count out 54 washers. Then I have to make sure they don't sideswipe any cars. Don't let it hit that car, don't let it hit that car. It might be going in, you're just going to hear it differently. Back at home now, and the sky just opened up on us before we could finish unloading all the wood. We're actually really surprised by how much it rains here. But it's just something to get used to. I think we're adapting pretty well, and we still love living here. Yep, that one's mine. Now it's time for dinner. After dinner, all the kids were helpful in getting the kitchen cleaned up, so we had enough time to watch a movie. And everybody likes Adam Sandler, so we watched Jack and Jill. And now I'm just doing a little bit more planning for a road trip that we're going to be taking at the end of the month. And after this, I need to go pack because I'm leaving for a work trip tomorrow afternoon. And that's day 4. Day 5, it's a Sunday morning, and while we're all getting ready for church, my daughter is playing a classic hymn, and my son is playing piano as well, but he's playing a really cool rock song that I can't let play here for copyright reasons. So if you're curious, if you want to hear the song, which I think you should, I'll make a short of it, and I'll put the link in the description. We let them watch Brain Rot when they're all dressed and ready for church. And I'm just finishing up packing up all my snacks for my trip. Okay, so I got all cleaned up, ready for church, and I'm actually going straight from church. I gotta go right to the airport. So to make things easier, I got this sweater on because obviously I have to change my tie when I get there, but here we go. You got my food, woman? All right, so since I'm going straight to work, I'm taking food for dinner tonight, but I don't want to leave it in my truck out in the hot sun, so I'm gonna have to remember to come get this right after church. Now it's time to switch ties and go to work. Well, it's just after 5 o'clock Texas time, and I just got to my hotel room here in Houston after a 2-hour flight. Everything was great. It was an easy flight. We did push back a little bit late. There were a couple holdups with the loading and a little bit of a maintenance issue, but just cost us a few minutes. Overall, super easy. I'm going to be in this hotel room now for the next 53 hours. Yeah, 53 hours. So, not bad. People have asked before, do we have to pay for our hotel room? No, the company arranges all the hotels and pays for it, of course. And do I get paid while I'm staying in a hotel? Yes. So I technically get paid to do what I'm going to do here. So I'll show you. I'll show you what it is I do. I do have to say it's not super exciting what I do on my layovers, but I really enjoy this time. I love spending time with my family, and so I know it seems a little contradictory to say that I love having these long layovers in a hotel, but the way I look at it, I would rather have more quality, like full days with my family at home to do stuff, rather than all these like chopped up days. Like if I worked a 9 to 5, you know, and the average person gets what, maybe 8 or 9 days off a month, and I get about 14 or 15 days off a month. And so while I'm home, like I get to have those whole days with my family. So it really works out pretty good, because you'll notice like today, I didn't even have to be at work until almost 2 o'clock. So I still had the whole morning to spend with them and to go to church and that sort of thing. So I know this schedule wouldn't work for a lot of families, but I'm very fortunate it works really well for mine. Now I'm gonna go down to the lobby and heat up my dinner, which is leftovers from last night. Now it's time to eat my reheated chicken pesto and spaghetti squash dinner. It's actually pretty good. And while I'm eating, I'm airdropping files into this video so I can be productive. So I just got back from a little stroll, walking around through the inside of the hotel, because they say it's good for you to walk after you eat. And I don't ever do any actual physical training on Sundays, though. So I just strolled through the hallways and probably creeped a few people out, but whatever. So for the rest of the night, I'm just going to finish up some editing and do a little reading, and then I'm going to go to bed early so that I can get up nice and early tomorrow for a big, exciting day. So that's day 5. So I think we'll call it here. This will be the end of part 1. But I hope you come back for part 2 and see what I do with the rest of my 50-something hours here in Houston from an intentional living perspective to show you why this type of lifestyle really works well for me. And I almost forgot, if you have a comment on anything about my lifestyle, I'd really be curious what you have to say, especially if it's a criticism, and especially if it's about how I parent my kids. I would really be interested in a discussion if you have any criticism for me there. So, thanks for watching.